Welcome back to part 3 of Module 6, Lesson 2, One-Step Addition Equations. This one's given us a little bit of fun in that they've given us two mixed numbers involved here. 3 3/4 plus m is equal to 7 1/2. I sure hope the textbook is not going to make us do this vertical, but let's see what they end up doing. First thing you're going to need to do, of course, is isolate. The goal is going to be to isolate your variable, but when you're working with mixed numbers in addition and subtraction, it's generally a good idea to change them to improper fractions. So they started off by writing the equation. After they wrote the equation, they took and found common denominator, so they're not going to turn these into improper fractions, I don't think, but they took the 1/2 and changed it to 2/4. So now you're doing with a common denominator for your constants, and then from there they took and subtracted 3 3/4 from both sides. I'm going to show you another way. I don't like this, but let's see what they say from here. And from there you took the 3 3/4 on the left. You should put a line through that, and that leaves you m on the left. And then on the right hand side, when they subtracted that, well, that's going to be, ooh boy, they're going to have to do some borrowing here, because let's just, I mean, we got to stop. 7 2/4 minus 3 3/4, so let's just take a spot and do that. So they have 7 2/4 minus 3 3/4. I'm writing it the way they did it, but you can't take 3 from 4, so that means we're going to have to do some borrowing. So the borrowing is going to make this one become 6 4/4 plus 2/4. So the 6 4/4 came from the 7 right there, because that 4/4 is 1 and 1 plus 6 is 7, and then the 2/4 was right there, which means that now I'm going to have 6 6/4 minus 3 3/4, and when you subtract that out, the 6 minus 3, that's going to leave you with 3/4, and then this 6 minus 3 is going to leave you with 3. So you'd end up having 3 3/4 left as a final answer, which we could take and put in right here. I'm going to show you that, and then I'm going to show you how I would put it in. So we're going to do 3, the fraction, whoops, I don't know what the heck happened. There we go. Oh, that's not where that goes. Let's try it again. And there we go. Ugh. My fat fingers are not working good tonight. 3/4, accept, and check. I'm curious, did I do something wrong? No, that's the same answer they got. They just must not like my fat finger answers. Alright, so 3 3/4 is their answer. Now, that's pretty brutal, doing that with mixed numbers, doing it vertical. I don't like it. I'm going to show you another way. Now, the way I would work this problem is the first thing I would do is I'd go ahead and do the Texas thing, write them as improper fractions, because I showed you how messy it is subtracting if you don't have the right problem laid out for subtraction. So 4 times 3 is 12, plus 3 is going to become, whoops, I changed my marker there, 15/4, plus m is equal to 7 times 2 is going to be 14, plus 1 is going to be 15/2. Now I'm going to isolate my variable. My variable's m, his friend, that's going to be 15/4. So I'm going to take and subtract. It's a positive 15/4, so I'm going to take and subtract 15/4 from both sides. 15/4 minus 15/4 plus m equals, and while I'm doing that, I'm going to go ahead and find the least common denominator of this one, which is going to end up making it 30/4, because 2 goes into 4 2 times, and 2 times 15 is 30. And then I'm going to take this, subtracting the 15/4, and I'm going to do the same thing on the right hand side. So circling what we have here, these two things are what I added. The 15/4s, that's the only thing that's different. Other than that, 15/4 here plus m is here equals 15/2, also known as 30/4 there. Everything else is the same. So with that said, now I can take and zero out those, and what does that leave me on the left hand side? It leaves me m is equal to 30 minus 15, that's going to become 15/4, which is also known as the same 3 3/4 that we got in the other way. Now, it does look kind of work intensive, but even though you write more, it's an easier way to work it because you're dealing with numbers that are easier. You not have to borrow from the 7, making it 6 4/4. It's just easier sometimes to turn that thing into an improper fraction and to work horizontally, because we have been working fractions horizontally our whole lives. We don't really like working fractions vertically. All right, folks, now it's going to be your problem. I want you to take and solve this one. It involves decimals. Decimals are a pretty cool thing to work vertically. Remember to isolate your variable, show me good supporting work, and then check your answer. So did you find the right answer? Let's look at what I'm going to do. Now, once again, like I said, decimals, I love doing decimals vertically. Final goal of an equation is of course going to be to isolate the variable. My variable is going to be g. G's friend is going to be 3.7, and 3.7 is adding itself to g. So the inverse operation is going to be to subtract 3.7 from both sides. Now on the right hand side, those are going to zero out, leaving g equals. On the left hand side, I'm going to have to annex in a 0, and then I'm going to subtract. 9 minus 0 is 9. Do some borrowing here, make that a 3 and a 12. 12 minus 7, that's going to be 5. 3 minus 3, that's going to be 0. The 1 comes down and the decimal comes down, giving us g is equal to 10 59 hundredths, 10.59, and check, and the answer checks. It's neat, it's concise, and it proves you understand how the equation works and what you need to do to keep it balanced. This is showing your work. This is what I must see. If I see anything else on each and every problem of your homework, you've done them just for fun. I think being 3 videos deep, we put enough time into this. We're going to skip the apply problem. Y'all go ahead and get started on your homework. Please focus on showing your work the right way. If you're not isolating the variable, doing the same thing on both sides all the way through, just like I've been showing you, I'm going to reject it, and I don't want to do that to you. Show your work the right way the first time so you get credit for it the first time and you don't have to redo it. See y'all tomorrow.